Hello, this is Mark from Not Square Design in Butte, Montana, and having some issues with getting this row situation to work. I should probably turn on my highlighter so it'd be easier to see. Um, anyway, I've had to take away a lot of stuff on this, like the terrain and such, to make it small enough, including all of the framing. Um, when I go inside here, like this to be flat across all the way and tuck up to the 5.5 inch subfascia. Eventually, this would be just for rendering or something of that nature, or maybe make my materials list more accurate. I'd have this area all unvented and just venting at the edges, but that is not the most important thing here. When I'm getting these walls, I don't know how to mend those except stretch them up, and I don't think that's necessarily the proper solution. In fact, obviously, the siding didn't go with it, so stretching that direction certainly didn't do it. Maybe this direction would have helped. Maybe the problem was that the other was no. See, that's not fixing the siding either. So that's not the solution. I'm not too worried about messing this file up, as this is not my main file because of the deletions. But this will hopefully become continuous fascia, but I can get the overall height right. It's understanding like why I've got an attic roof here, because in my settings for this, I was basically shown that the shelf ceiling setting is to keep that from happening, and even the file folder says so. But what seems to be the issue is that these walls and this room are not what's causing it. So if I go to the floor plan and I look at this floor, that's going to have the same settings. So if I go up a level and I click on it, it's not a floor, so I can't change that setting. And it has walls. It does say that it's an attic wall. So I would think that having that room definition down here with the shelf ceiling turned on is supposed to eliminate that from happening. So I don't quite understand why it's still happening. And then to add to the confusion, this excuse me, this not only has a jog in the depth, but here it's using my wall style for exterior walls with the layer system I have for that. And over here it's using this wall down here and the porch material, which I'll turn that 90 degrees at some point, but it's getting the geometry right first. And then overall, design-wise, I guess it's not such a big cantilever from this point that I can't just extend the roof out. So that should be pretty easy. But I've got to, if I'm going to have this also be a flat ceiling and not have any ceiling up here, the one way is to get rid of the soffit altogether and then just build a ceiling. Is that the only solution? Or, better yet, is to have this thing fix itself by having my settings correct and understanding what's going on. So that's my goal, is to know what's going on, and then get this to the right heights so that I can get arches built in here. My goal was to get 18 inches and then a 9-inch tall arch with 9 inches of panel above, but I think I'm just going to have to go with whatever dimension makes this fascia hit, because I've got a heel height at certain areas, so I can get an R60 in my ceilings up in here with the high density blown in. So those are the major issues that I'm coming up against. There's some smaller ones. When I hit framing, sometimes this guy here will pop out as a big framed member. It becomes much larger if I were to frame it. This is a almost non-issue, but if there's a simple solution or if I'm doing something incorrectly as to why that trim is there. And this I did pull out straight. I could have it come up against the wall. That's just a roof fix. No big deal there. But again, up in this area, in this turret, which is not part of my same issue, but it seems to be having the same type of problem where the soffit is just down low. It's not hugging the subfascia. And I can check like the roof setting, the DBX here for this, and just see if it says anything as far as my higher boxed eaves. And one thing that is confusing is turning this on and off and changing this number doesn't seem to affect the depth of the overhang. And I think that's probably because it's manually created. So the only roof that's automatically created is the main roof. Most everything else I've had to draw in manually. And even the main roof's been altered to trim it back for areas that to get the ceiling inside this turret to be vaulted, as it's the only vaulted one in the room, but I can't just do a plain old overframe. So eave subfascia. Now if I put that in there and then flat under eave subfascia. So to me that says it would suck it up in there. So if I look at this one roof, giving it a piece of subfascia, maybe that was part of the problem. I didn't see that, but I don't want to build the roof framing at this point because I want to keep this. Well, I could actually. I could build the roof framing in the video. I just can't do it and save it. Now, did it only frame that one? Because if it only framed that one, then fine. But look, it framed a lot. And did it even, yeah, it even framed all of this. So I do want to get rid of that because I haven't done the save and zip it yet. So I don't want that file to get big again. But I believe, in fact, we'll do it one more time. If I go back to build, framing, and build, I want to just the framing of the roof. There we go. Okay, so and so my roof, use framing reference, automatically build roof framing, or even here I'll just say build roof framing. My eave subfascia is on. I don't have any special roof selected, so I'll go ahead and put it back in for the moment before I do the save, because I want to see if these actually come back out as they had in the past. Now, well, that's odd. Getting floor trusses coming through, and I didn't ask it to build the floor system. And these are going to rafters and not trusses as I'd like them to be. And part of that probably has to do with the fact that I've got a soffit up here. I've got apparently floor trusses popping through randomly in strange places. And I'm guessing that it probably has something to do with this gap or the way that the walls are not mending. And so I have noticed that in some cases when I have to alter a wall, which the wall that needed to be altered has to do with how this portion works, because I need the floor framing to sit over the framed portion of the wall. It doesn't need to come necessarily over the wall, but if this wall height is all the way up, it doesn't work with the new Dura ICF block, because it should be consistent height all the way around the structure. And this framing, the floor framing, sits on the wall furred framing in the basement. So that's the purpose of why this one had to manually be brought down. And when I changed it, I believed it did warn me that it was going to turn off the automatic rebuild walls. And once you alter one, can you turn that back on, or will it just fix that? And I can't figure out any way to turn it back on. I've looked through the help. I've looked online, and I don't know how to fix that. So that's a longer version of what I need to fix, but I thought I'd put it in the video in case there's solutions for that that are easy to explain. And I did try and create DBX saved images so that whoever was able to assist me with this, it'd be simpler for you to go through. Trying to make it as easy as possible. Appreciate the help. This is Mark with Not Square Design. Thank you.